Have you ever wondered what it really means to be a good person? I mean, is it about these huge, grand gestures, these public displays of faith? Or is it something quieter, maybe something deeper? Today, we're going to dive into a powerful, mythological story that gets right to the heart of this question. It's a story about sacrifice, compassion, and a twist you won't see coming that completely redefines what virtue is all about.
And at the very core of this tale is this simple yet incredibly profound idea. Service to living beings is service to God. Just let that sink in for a second. This one line, it's the key to unlocking everything that's about to happen. So keep it in mind as we get into this incredible story.
All right, so our story kicks off with a man who, by all accounts, was the poster child for devotion. But, as we're about to see, all that piety puts him in a really, really tough spot.
So picture this guy. He's incredibly devout. He performs not one, not two, but 3 enormous fire sacrifices. These are called yagyas, and these were a huge deal, big public rituals, whereas tradition dictates he donated every single thing he owned. He gave it all away until he and his family had absolutely nothing left.
And this, right here, created this fascinating paradox. On the spiritual side of things, his account of good deeds, or punya, was overflowing. He was rich in virtue. But in the real world, his pockets were completely empty. He was basically a spiritual millionaire, but a material pauper.
So, facing this absolutely crushing poverty, the householder goes looking for advice from a wise scholar. And that conversation sets him off on one of the most unusual quests I think you'll ever hear about.
Now get this, the scholar's advice is, well, it's pretty out there. He basically says, look, think of all that virtue you've accumulated as a kind of spiritual money. Take it to the celestial court of Dharmaraj, he's the god of justice, and sell it to him. He'll pay you big time for all the merit you've earned. I mean, can you even imagine that? Literally cashing in your good deeds for money. And you know what? He doesn't even hesitate. Our hero hears this strange advice and just goes for it. He sets off on his journey, and his mission is crystal clear. Get to the celestial court, make a deal, and solve his family's money problems once and for all.
But this journey, which started out as this kind of desperate business trip, is about to take a serious detour. He's about to face a test he never saw coming, and it's this test that becomes the real heart of the whole story.
So there he is, right? On the side of this dusty road, he finally sits down to eat his really simple meal, just some bread. But just as he's about to take his first bite, he sees a dog nearby. And this isn't just any dog. This poor thing is sick, it's skin and bones, and it's so weak it can barely even lift its head.
And in that moment, he's faced with this really stark choice. I mean, he himself is starving. He's got a long way to go, and this is the only food he has. But the dog is clearly suffering, maybe even at death's door. So what does he do?
He doesn't even think twice. This wave of pure compassion just washes over him. And right then, his own hunger, his mission, his poverty, all of it just fades into the background. He takes his bread, his only food, and he feeds it to that suffering animal. He chooses to stay hungry himself just so another being could find some relief.
So, having passed a test he didn't even realize he was taking, our householder gets back on the road. He's hungry for sure, but his heart is full. And finally, he arrives at his destination, the magnificent celestial court of Dharmaraj.
He walks into this grand court, stands before the god of justice himself, and he makes his case. He just lays it all out there, plain and simple. I am here to sell the merit I've earned from performing 3 great sacrifices.
For him, the math is simple, right? He did 3 massive rituals. So that means he has 3 huge deposits in his spiritual bank account. And that's the product he's here to sell.
But Dharmaraj, looking down at his divine ledger, kind of shakes his head and corrects him. He says, "My good man, my records here show that you have the merit of not 3 but 4 sacrifices to your name. So which one would you like to sell?"
You can just imagine the look on his face. The householder is completely baffled. He says, "Your Majesty, with all due respect, I'm absolutely sure I only performed 3. What is this 4th sacrifice? When did I do it? I have zero memory of this." And this, right here, this is where the story's incredible message is finally revealed. The answer to the man's question is the key that unlocks the entire moral of this tale and the true meaning of virtue. Dharmaraj just smiles and explains. He says, "That 4th sacrifice, that was something we call a Daya Yagya, a sacrifice of compassion. Back on the road, when you yourself were starving, you gave your only meal to a sick and helpless dog. That single act of pure, selfless kindness, that was a sacrifice far greater than any ritual you could ever perform.
And then comes the final, absolutely stunning revelation. Dharmaraj declares that the spiritual merit, that punya, from that one single moment of compassion on the roadside is worth more than all three of his grand, expensive, and elaborate rituals combined.
And just like that, the central lesson of the story becomes crystal clear. It's not that formal rituals are meaningless, they have their place, of course. But what this story is screaming at us is that the highest virtue, the greatest good, comes from selfless, spontaneous service to another being who is in need. Real spiritual worth isn't something you can plan for or buy. It's born in those unexpected moments of pure, genuine compassion.
And that leaves us with a really powerful question to carry with us, doesn't it? We might not be performing grand fire sacrifices, but the opportunity for our own Daya Yagya, our own little sacrifice of compassion, shows up in our lives every single day. It could be a kind word, a helping hand, or just a moment of real empathy for someone who's struggling. So the question isn't just what your Daya Yagya could be, but will you see it when it's right in front of you?